Welcome, Pablo, to the True Worth Tech Talks. I really appreciate you coming here today. We're going to find out a lot about yourself, and we're going to talk about Stratesys and how a Spanish SAP integrator is coming to the UK, and your journey and how you're getting on with that. So thank you for joining me.
No, thank you, Sam, for inviting me here today. It's a pleasure being here. After now almost 2 years now in the UK, as you mentioned, trying to bring Stratesys operations here. It's been an amazing experience so far, so really happy to share here today.
Fantastic. So today we're going to be talking about your history, the history of Stratesys, where you position yourself in the UK. We're going to talk a little bit about the work that True Worth has done for you in terms of hiring and being your embedded recruitment partner. But we're also going to talk and really drill down into a bit more detail about the services that Stratesys offer, and how you're, I guess, a bit different from some of the bigger players in this very busy UK market. And I say bigger, but Stratesys is a really big company anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, Stratesys is becoming a big player. We are in the middle of a very successful growth plan. Both things are right. Stratesys is a big company, but we are really small here in the UK.
And I think that's hopefully going to resonate with some companies that want to partner with a large organisation, but still feel like they're looked after as a small client and a small business. You know, I think relationships are really important, aren't they, in your area?
We're proud to say that we have no customers that have worked only once with us in their lives. So yeah, we really look to be able to add value to our customers in the long term, to build relationships that are sustainable in time.
Yeah. Now, you've got a really, for me, a fascinating career path. So now you are the UKI region partner for Stratesys. You're at that senior leadership team, director level, driving a lot of the strategy in the UK. But do you want to tell us a little bit about your career history with Stratesys and how you became, how did you first hear about Stratesys?
Sure. Yep. Well, I've been working in the IT services or the IT consultancy services sector all my career. In fact, I studied computer engineering, so I would say quite a techie guy from the beginning. But I started my career in one of the big players. I think that was great learning space. These big companies are great places to learn, to meet senior people, to work with huge market leaders. And I also had the opportunity to start working with big multinational companies. I worked here in the UK for some years, in France, in Italy, in Turkey, obviously in Spain as well, but also in Germany and even in India. I was almost 1 year living in India, and that clearly gave me one idea that I wanted to keep for the rest of my career. I like those kind of international environments. So yeah, that was probably the beginning of my career. But then I also had clear that I didn't want to be a super specialist, and I was working in an SAP world, which is a world quite based on specialists. So I always tried to have a generic view, and probably also because of that, I decided to study an MBA. Try to open a little bit my mind, having studied a tech career, working on the tech industry. So I thought it could give me a wider view of not only of my industry, but of other industries, and also of the company's management, because I was willing to give that jump to the management level of the companies. And also it happened that by that time I got to meet Ramon Montané, who is one of the founders of Stratesys and is the current CEO. So we started talking a little bit, and he really got me in with his plans to growth and to develop Stratesys to a new position. And I came here. But that time Stratesys was around 300 people, compared to the almost 2,000 I just told you. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey. So that's more or less how it started.
And now you live in Madrid with your wife and 2 children, 2 girls, 5 and 6, and you're a Barcelona fan. So I'm gonna mention this to you. That must be quite hard being a Barcelona fan living in Madrid. What's that like?
Well, it depends on moments. No, this week is great to be a Barcelona fan in Madrid after last week's 0-4 result. But on a day-to-day and during my early years, it was tough. All my friends supporting Real Madrid, and Real Madrid is a winner, and it's more common times in which I have to suffer that. But that's also make it funny.
Taking that into your, I guess, a very bad segue back into work and the business. I guess what must be a real challenge is, you touched on that technical experience that you had, but then you've decided to take your MBA so you can learn more about business. In the SAP world, I guess that's really important to understand and know the challenges that your clients face. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that for being able to deliver value while doing IT services, of course, you need to understand the technology. That's supposed when you go to a tech company. But I think it's important to understand the business of your company and the day-to-day life, no? That the problems that they suffer in the day-to-day life. That's also one of the reasons why we try to give an industry-oriented focus and offering, because the problems of every industry are different. Therefore, the approach to a solution, even you solve them with the same technology, it has to be different.
Okay, and you've talked about offering your customers that high-quality service, but also having that relationship with them. How does that work day to day for you at the moment then?
Well, that's a very important part of the way we like to treat our customers, or to build a relationship with them. I said we are not a company who likes to be project-based, but customer-centric. We really want to have a long-term relationship, but make sure that is because we do things that impact our customers' business, P&Ls, processes, and day-to-day activities.
Talk to me about Stratesys' specialization. So you've become a leader in SAP consulting, obviously, digital transformation across various industries. Could you share a little bit more about the journey of the business and its positioning as a SAP consultant specialist?
Sure. Stratesys was founded back in 1997 as a pure SAP specialist company. And I would say that even more specialist, not only SAP, but focusing a lot on the financial functions. And the company soon started to be well known in the market for that. And that gave access to some of the biggest customers in Spain, like the Telefónica, Repsols, Ferrovial, Puig, companies which are still today Stratesys customers, almost 30 years after. And that obviously gave a name to the company, but also gave the opportunity to get closer to the day-to-day business and to learn about those businesses and about those industries. So that helped also the company to do this transition to the pure technical specialization to more this business-oriented or industry-oriented offering, no? But also, if we wanted to make Stratesys bigger, we understood that on one side we needed to add additional technologies to our portfolio, and that's something we've been doing in the recent years. We now work with 4 key technological partners, which on top of SAP are Microsoft, Salesforce, and OpenText. And around that, we have also built a network of partners and startups which complement our offering. And we have also developed a concept that we call the digital hybrid core, which means how we try to explain it is this is not just about understanding a technology itself, but understanding how it interacts with other technologies and how it interacts with the customer's ecosystem. No, so that's a space where we feel very, very comfortable. No, and that's probably one of our key differentiators. And on top of that, and based, as mentioned, on that experience of doing projects and working with customers during many, many years, we have built a set of software products that we group in areas that we call constellations. The message behind this is I think is quite interesting, because we like to say that the customer is in the center of our universe. Therefore, constellations are around our customers. And we have different customers which are to group products aimed to help the different C-level functions within the organization. So we have Pixies, for example, which is aimed to support financial directors on the day-to-day activities and functions, or Ion, which is around procurement functions, which is in fact one of the things that we are focusing here in the UK, as you mentioned before, around procurement.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit how Stratesys has changed during the years.
So it's not just another big integrator for SAP and procurement. That's your core offering, but it feels like you've got these other partners, these other products, you've integrated these other platforms into what you do to complement that, to be able to offer your clients a lot more.
Yeah, that's the idea. So I think we are different from other integrators in many things. One is that set of products that we have that complement market products and are really aligned to those day-to-day pain points that we see in our customers. And I think we are also different in terms of organization. No, on top of growing from a technology stack point of view, we have also growth from an international point of view. Company was founded in Spain, but now we operate in more than 10 countries. And for us, it's very important our delivery model that we call global delivery model, and that is based on people is assigned to expertise areas or expertise groups that we call competence centers, and people who is a specialist in one functional area or on one technology belong to a competence center, regardless of where in the world they are sitting.
Right.
So for us, a procurement project that we execute here in the UK will be staffed with the most suitable resources that we have around the organization for that customer. Regardless, they are sitting in Brazil, where our procurement practice was started, in Spain, which is our biggest team, or here in the UK, where obviously we are building that front office, that first level or first layer of team that is required for every commercial activity or for every project to execute successfully. But I think that's quite different from other multinational or big system integrators that for us, teams and Stratesys is really global, is one global team.
So it's one global team, but it's a local presence. It's still having that ability to be able to talk to somebody locally and get that first line support, but then it's not what we would call a square peg in a round hole. It's getting the right skills at the right time for that customer.
Yeah,
that's good. That's interesting.
That also helps. Hopefully, will help. No, and is actually helping. No, to accelerate the speed in which you can jump into a new country. Because if you have to build your whole team in every country you go, it takes longer and it's more expensive. And on the other hand, if you are not bringing in your consultants, your way of working, you cannot guarantee you're going to deliver the way you like to deliver. No, for us there is one very, very important concept that is be an estratégico. That is a person that feels Stratesys, that understands what being a member from Stratesys means from a personal point of view and not from a technical point of view. And we really want our customers to feel that. So if we have to build a new team from scratch here, not only will take more time and money, but the first projects we go to, we will not be able to guarantee that we execute that way. No, and that important of the estratégico concept is It's also probably the reason why when we are trying to expand to a new country or to start operating in a new country, a person like me is here, no? A person which has been in Stratesys for 15 years that really knows the culture of the company, the offering of the company. But also this global delivery model helps us, as I said, not only to bring the most senior people in the world to supporting a project same way in UK as they will do in Spain or in Brazil, but also to put that style, that philosophy, that company values into every project, regardless where it's being executed.
And it feels like the culture is really important to Stratesys. So when we talk about projects, technical projects, when a big organisation is implementing some software that's going to change their business significantly, everybody focuses on the technology. But really it's about the people, and it's about listening to the people and the people that are going to help them implement that technology successfully. So do you think in some ways the culture of Stratesys kind of seeps into that relationships with your clients then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we are a people-based business, no? We don't have factories, we don't have huge assets that produce things. Hopefully sooner than later we'll have AI bots supporting us on testing, on documentation, which we are starting to have, but we are a people-based business. We think it's really, really important, as I said, not only the technical skills, but those soft skills from the people are relevant to be able to deploy our strategy and to be able to have the kind of relationship we like to have with our customers.
And I guess if those people in the Stratesys family, for want of a better terminology, if they feel heard and valued and feel like they're part of something, then they're going to work harder for their client, for your clients or for their clients, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's and one example of us trying to really feel this like the Stratesys family. We're still a small team here in the UK, but still all UK employees are coming to Madrid headquarters next week. So yeah, we really want them feel part of the Stratesys family.
And it's an interesting one. When we talk about company culture, there is always that danger that by badging the business as a family, it's a little bit, it's maybe a bit uncomfortable in some ways. Is it more of a family, or is it a team, a high-performing team? Does that? I think there's an argument for both, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, and it could be a family 15 years ago with 300 people, but there are no 2,000 people families. So yeah, it's a cultural thing, but you need to build a high-performance team with common interest, and common goals.
Yeah, I agree completely, 100%. So then talking about the expansion into the UK, there's been some challenges. You've entered the UK market not as an unknown, but we've talked about the fact that it feels a little bit like a startup in a way. What were the really big challenges, or the first challenges that you faced, and why did you choose the UK as an area to focus on that growth?
So yeah, this is our decision to come into the UK is part of a global strategy where we want to become what we call a Europe LATAM technological hub. Yeah. So we have obviously a very strong presence. We are market leaders in Spain. We have a strong presence in several countries in Latin America, where we are starting to become really relevant players, especially Brazil, Mexico. But to finalize that Europe LATAM technological hub part, we were missing the Europe part on top of Spain, no?
Right.
So as part of our previous playbook, because in 2024 we are starting a new one, there was this expansion into what we called New Europe, which is actually the oldest part of Europe, but it was not only UK, but also Germany, the Netherlands, and Switzerland, no? And we chose those countries knowing that there will be challenging countries which are very mature countries, highly competitive, and in some cases probably even more advanced in IT services as Spain. But we thought that there are also markets which are willing or which can value what we can bring, regardless of where we come from and how big our local practice is here. No? So being mature in terms of hiring consulting and IT services, we thought it was an advantage. And obviously, there's also one additional fact that all those markets' mandate rates are higher to all the other markets where we operate. So if we are able to deploy our global delivery model, will not only be good from a quality point of view, but also hopefully profitability will be high.
And is that do you see that as a factor in Europe, being able to compete not only with quality but also in terms of cost as well and be competitive?
Yeah, we see that as part of the strategy, obviously. What we are finding here in the UK, however, is that you have to be careful with that, because there's this onshore-offshore tradition, and offshore is usually associated to very low rates but not so high quality standards. So we've been already a couple of times during this last year called to attention because of the rates may imply lower quality. So we're working on that, on defining what's the ideal price range in we should move to make sure we transmit the quality value that we want to transmit to those customers that still don't know us. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. So expanding into that new region, we've got those obstacles. We talked about people earlier and how it's important to bring people in to your business. From our point of view, we supported you when you first arrived here in the UK, and we've known each other for a couple of years now, and we've had this conversation about how we're going to help you with that hiring strategy. How did we make that process easy for you in terms of recruitment in a local market then?
Yeah. Talking about challenges, there are probably two, no, that are being the biggest ones. No, first one is obviously get to be known in the market by the local companies who should be our customers. That's been hard, and on that we are trying to work on parallel strategies on one side with our direct sales team, and also through online webinars, events, social network. And obviously the second is recruiting. No, we, as mentioned, we are a people-based business. We need people to operate our business, and getting into a new market and finding the right people is tough. No, so yeah, we were lucky to meet almost 2 years ago in Daresbury, close to here, to Manchester, where we opened our first physical office in the UK. And the model we've been able to establish has helped us a lot to be able to be flexible and dynamic, because in these 2 years we've changed, as you know, firsthand many times I would not say change, but adapt our priorities, our plan, and our speed of demand in terms of resources. So yeah, being able to find a recruiting partner, no, who understands the necessity of a starting company has been key for us.
I mean, we pride ourselves on being flexible and agile. We're a small business, so I think it's important that we can do that. We've helped you with some pretty senior hires, but most recently this year, we offered you an embedded recruitment solution, and it was a talent as a service. And that model helped you to hire multiple people over a short space of time to be ready for a project. How did that work for you? Do you want to sort of expand in that in a bit more detail?
Yeah, sure. No, as you mentioned, no, we've worked with those two models. No, I would say a more traditional headhunting service for very specific positions, and as you know, our sales responsible, you helped us find him, and also some senior position for project management. Yeah, hopefully some of the leaders of the future Stratesys UK. But as you mentioned, no, we have a day-to-day that is executing projects, and for executing a project, many times you don't need so much a specific profile that you can define so specifically, but you need a pool of people which they have to complement each other. No? So you have to do a mix of obviously technical skills, but also seniority, leadership, and other soft skills. So if you are about to staff a project with 5 people, you need them to be complementary. No? So as you hire the first one, the requirements of the second one change.
Yeah.
And that embedded model that you offered us really helped us. No, we had to staff that first on-site S4HANA project here in the UK. So we needed to incorporate some people quite fast, and as I said, with these complementary skills. And that really helped, because if we had to go for 5 specific job descriptions for 5 specific hirings, we will not have succeed that as we did.
And we offered a solution that we partnered directly with your internal talent team. They had access to our candidate portal. We performed some basic pre-screenings and then handed it over to your internal talent team. How did that process work for you? Was that work particularly well for them as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Because in this area actually is one of the probably the biggest lesson learned I have from this year. No, when expanding to other geographies, we've always trend to internalize the recruiting, and the learning curve obviously was much slower. No, so. This embedded service, as I said, not only helped us to be agile and smooth in terms of having the resources, but also gave us a huge learning opportunity to our internal people and employee experience team, to learn the market dynamics, to learn on the negotiation process and best practices during the recruiting here in the UK. So yeah, it's been a great experience, as I said, not only because of the results, but also for what we have learned during the process.
What do you think is important when you're choosing a recruitment partner? What's the most important thing that a recruitment partner can offer you in that sort of situation?
I think the important thing is that understands your company, no? Because as I said, technical resources, you can go out there and find them, especially in the IT sector. Other sectors may be more difficult, but for IT consultants, you can go out in LinkedIn and you will find candidates, no? But if you are able to work with a recruiting partner that understands your company, your strategy, and again, the kind of people you are looking for, that's really the differentiator.
On one of the first hires we did for you, Nathan, we did a lot of pre-screening video calls for you. So we took away that first initial conversation with a candidate that was sometimes maybe done over a phone call or a Teams call, and we did that for you. We recorded that call. How was that experience?
And that was surprising for me at the beginning. I've never worked that way, but I said it was helpful, no, to be able to have a first impression of the candidates before even us having the first interview with them, and it also helped us to provide some feedback because, as mentioned, no, we had an idea in mind of what we were looking for, but as we started to meet the candidates, we adapted that. So having that opportunity of seeing the recording sessions and analyze them in detail, and not only on the live interviews, it really helped to do the fine tuning of the profile we were looking for, and to find Nathan, who, as you said, is now over 6 months working with us, and yeah.
I suppose sometimes it is it's difficult when you first start to write down what do we want from a candidate to work for us, and it does change, doesn't it? And it's a little bit like, I guess, if you're looking to buy a house, you have an idea in your mind of what that house might look like, but until you start looking at houses and seeing what's available, you change your mind, you compromise, you perhaps want more of one thing or another. So that's very similar in a way in recruiting staff and people for the business, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And as mentioned, it's your first hire impacts the subsequent one. So
Yeah.
you have to have that flexibility.
Absolutely. Okay. We're still here. I think we're going to talk a little bit about the proprietary software solutions. So you have sort of unique solutions, innovations. You talked about the CX house, CRM. Could you share a little bit about how those types of solutions are designed and what makes them unique to addressing client challenges?
Yeah. As mentioned, one of the key pillars of our strategy, what we call our playbook, are the software constellations. These are a group of solutions that have been built by Stratesys, either based on the experience of several projects demanding the same or similar things, and also some of them built based on co-innovation processes with our customers. No? Okay. And that's a key part of our offering, something that we really think differentiates ourselves, that really helps us give a unique value proposition to our customers, because it puts our offering and our conversation with our customers at their C-level and also on their key pain points. No? Mm. So yeah, for us is key to be able to offer these pieces of software, this constellation. No? You ask about CX House, and that's a great example that mixes two of these the pillars of our organization, or of our strategy, the software constellation and the industry. Because what's the CX House? CX House is a CRM that has taken a market leader CRM solution, in this case SAP CX, and we have done the adaptations to make it a specific software for real estate companies. Okay. Taking some concepts like when you are commercializing real estate assets, those are unique assets, not like other companies, for example, commercializing commodity goods. Mm. They have a physical location, so you have to take care about the routes when visiting your assets. Yeah. So there are specific things about sectors, in this case, like real estate, and specific things about commercial directors that we try to put them together and build these pieces of software that we group in the constellations.
So, Pablo, a lot of companies these days are looking to integrate emerging technologies, things like AI and machine learning. How are Stratesys bringing those emerging technologies into your product suite to offer more to your clients?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're strongly believers on AI is gonna change the way we do services, the way our customers operate. And actually, we have a team that's working on several directions. No? First one, we are trying to give every Stratesys product, every software within our constellations, an AI layer, what we call powered by AI. So we are reviewing all of them to see how AI can help of them. While obviously, all the products that are being created now, they already had it embedded in the philosophy. We're also conducting training sessions and informative sessions to our employees, because we think it's important to be up to date. But we also want to help our customers embrace this change. So we even have our own methodology to help companies incorporate innovation into their processes. And in fact, let me mention here one of our biggest projects here in the last year in the UK. We're working with one of the biggest telco companies, and we have helped them renovate and automate and smooth all their recruiting processes end to end using AI technology. So from the job description generation to the CV analysis, interview script preparation, interview recording analysis, and candidate evaluation, all of those are now supported by AI and generative AI in this case. And that has been a co-innovation process with this customer who, we have helped them bring their process, bring their knowledge and their ideas into the table, and we've been able to conceptualize them, to do proof of concepts, to do MVPs, and to do final products that now are supporting them on their day-to-day recruiting processes.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think I speak to so many companies now that are bringing AI into what they're doing day to day. And one of the things a lot of companies are doing now is instead of just giving their staff Copilot or ChatGPT, they're actually developing their own in-house AI platforms so that instead of the employees going outside of the ecosystem, they can kind of control and monitor what their staff are using AI or ChatGPT for. So that's quite an interesting way to keep control of it.
Yeah.
And of course, there's data protection and security protocols and government initiatives coming in around AI. So it's going to be an interesting next few years, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, that's starting to change a little bit, but during many months, whenever you talk to a customer about AI, one of the first answers was, I have to check with my legal department. No? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's gonna be definitely one of the challenges about how data is utilized and those market solutions, how they deal with company data. But
yeah, I think it feels like at the moment that there's not that many controls around it, but I think a black swan event might come about and we might have to all change what we do. But yeah, no, it's an interesting time. I'm going to come back to sort of global expertise, local relevance. We know that you operate globally. You place this high kind of importance on providing that localized support. You spent some time in China, and you've talked about the other countries that you've lived in. Obviously, it's a challenge going to a different country, but you actually met your partner, your future wife in China. Tell me a little bit about that and how that affected your career at Stratesys.
Yeah, as mentioned, when I joined Stratesys, I was just jumping to this management position roles, and since I joined, as mentioned, I have clear I like that part of the company becoming international. So one of the first opportunities that came was opening Stratesys in China. So I jumped in and I moved there. I was living there for around 3 years.
And what year was that?
That was 2010.
Okay.
No, 2012.
2012, right.
And then, after 3 years living there, and as you mentioned, I met my current wife there. She was also an expat from another Spanish company. So while she came back, after some time, I decided to fly back to Spain again, but was still 5 more years very closely related with Stratesys China, traveling a lot. It was a huge experience, obviously from a personal point of view, as you can understand, because, my family was initiated there in China. Yeah. But from a professional point of view, also it really gave me a lot of insights that I think are applicable now in this UK experience. And this also helps me jump back to one of the topics we've mentioned around a lot in the conversation, the software constellation. What of the experiences we learned when trying to start our operations in China. And obviously it's a very different market, cultural, but we found that for us was very difficult to position ourselves and to demonstrate value to non-Spanish company. Every Spanish company understood that we could help them because we were also like they were Spaniards working in China, so we can support on headquarters and on the local presence. We were known for our experience, but we really didn't have anything different to go to other customers, no? But that time also Stratesys was starting its operation in Brazil, and probably that's where everything started. All these solutions around procurement. We started to build software pieces that help us be different from our competitors, no? And that's probably the original on all of this, no? So now when coming into the UK, on one side, obviously the experience that we've gained on these different countries, and in my particular case, the China one, but also that go to market with a specific solutions, with a specific software, and with a specific offering that from the beginning is different to what our competitors are offering.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I don't think there's that many companies that do that, and there's certainly not many people I've met that have had that same journey, and that brings a different set of eyes, a different experience, a different view of the world.
Yeah, it's been a long journey, and we are getting old now.
So talk to me a little bit more about how you kind of maintain relevance then for each of those local markets. And I guess, you know, you've got that experience across Europe and China. You obviously understand the importance of those local teams. Do you want to expand on that a little bit more?
Yeah, but it's something we've already talked about.
Yeah.
Global team. For us, Stratesys is Stratesys. It's not Stratesys UK, Stratesys Brazil, or Stratesys Peru, which obviously are legal entities.
Yeah.
But those are not entities from people or resources management point of view, because obviously from people is relevant because you have to be close to the people. But when managing resources for projects or for skills or for staffing different customers, that's global. And I think that's a key part of being able to deliver with the same quality standards worldwide, and also to offer our customers a global experience. No, we are starting to have also some employees which are moving from one office to another, and that's something we really like. To give our employees that international experience, which we think is amazing to be able to give people this opportunity to grow, not only from a professional point of view, no, that at the end of the day, the aim of making Stratesys bigger and bigger is a matter of leaving a legacy and giving our employees the opportunities that we, the executive team, have had to grow with the company. So the biggest we are able to make the company, the biggest the opportunities we will give to our teams. But also now with this international vision, how many international experience we can give to families of people working at Stratesys, that's really nice for us.
Yeah, I bet it is, absolutely. What about best practices when it comes to managing compliance and regulatory challenges in different regions? How do you navigate that, and how is that different for Stratesys?
Well, we think we try to look in our partners or in our suppliers somehow a philosophy or a strategy similar to the one we offer. No, so we try to rely on partners that are global, operate on the same markets as we do. So not only understand the local particularities of the market where we are starting our operations, but also understand Spanish market or the neighbor markets in where we operate. So are able to help us understand those gaps and those differences and make it much more natural.
Yeah. Okay. And looking forward then to some of the, I guess, challenges in the future, strategic vision, what do you anticipate, or I guess, how do you anticipate that changing in the UK? And particularly UK operations, but I guess it evolves all the time, doesn't it, globally?
Yeah. No, I mean, from the highest level, we want to make Stratesys a 1 billion revenue company, if I had to summarize in one sentence. So that's a huge challenge. Focusing in the UK or in every market, no? What our aim in every market where we operate is to be a market leader. The matter of the subsidiaries obviously is related to this Europe, Latin technological hub, but we want to become that hub because we are relevant and leaders in every market that we operate. So obviously the road to drive here in the UK is huge. We are happy with what has happened this year. We are starting to be relevant to some of our partners like OpenText or like SAP in the procurement area. As said, with our Orion constellation, they are starting to recognize the value we can bring, but the number of solutions of areas like analytics, like the huge move to S4HANA around SAP are still areas to be worked. Obviously, other partners like Microsoft, where we are still not really close to them here in the UK. So the space is huge. This is an amazing market. It's bigger than Spanish market, actually. So shall the strategies of the future be bigger in UK than Spain? Why not? And also we see UK as a platform to potentially expand to other geographies like the Nordics, where we'll definitely ask for your help. There's still a lot to do here in the UK. I mean, UK itself has to be a huge market for Stratesys.
Absolutely. And do you see, obviously we talked earlier about the SAP procurement being that core kind of piece for you, but what other areas? You've got AI, you've got data, you've got open text. Are there any other future partners that you can talk about at the moment?
Yeah, I said we are already working also with OpenText. We've having conversations with some of our other partners. I said like Microsoft, like Data Robot, like Snowflake. But probably the shortest term will be other areas within SAP, especially talking about analytics, talking about the people solutions of SAP, and of course there's a huge movement in our sector from SAP customers embracing the new SAP version S/4HANA, and on that particular area we're still not relevant in the UK, so those should be probably the next steps in the short term.
Okay. The next question I've got is for advice for other service integrators who are considering international expansion. But if we just kind of reframe that question slightly, what advice would you give to any other organizations that are in the software industry, that are consultancy-led, moving to the UK? What advice would you give kind of any business, including service integrators, but generally what advice would you give them if they were looking at the UK to move into as a market?
That's probably a bit generic and not UK specific.
Yeah.
I said patience and be sure that you have the strong commitment from the organization from the highest level, because that's going to be full of up and downs.
Yeah.
But talking particularly about UK, what I'm finding is that's a market that's really mature in this sector. And as I mentioned, a mature market is really willing to find the best partner. And it's not so much subject to being local or having a local team or being the one I've worked with for the last 20 years. No? So if you are able to demonstrate value and to demonstrate a unique proposal to your customers, I think the UK market will value it.
Okay, good.
So you have to be different.
You have to be different, and people are important.
Absolutely. You cannot do any business, but especially our business, without people. No, but again, you have to find the people that fit your organization. Not everybody is valid for every organization, even in the same sector. No, you may find the technical skills, but if people don't embrace the company culture, the values, the speed that you are willing to grow, and the direction you are willing to have, they may get frustrated or they may not feel home.
And can you tell me, we're going to finish off in a minute, but if you were to talk to your younger self of, say, 20 years ago, what advice would you give young Pablo, knowing what you know now?
Honestly, I don't know if I would have changed many things. I've really enjoyed my professional career. I think it's given me huge opportunities to travel, to meet people very different around the world, not only from a cultural point of view. I said I've lived in India, in China, but worked around many countries in Europe. But probably I would have made even more focus on on not being so much technical. No, long term important part, as mentioned, is understanding the customers' needs, understanding their businesses, and I think this is a key part of my work now, day to day, and it took some time to learn it and to understand it. So probably would be to be more business oriented and not so much IT focused during some years.
Excellent. Pablo, thank you for sharing your own journey, the Stratesys journey. We're excited to see how Stratesys continues to grow in the UK and beyond. For our listeners that want to connect with you and explore our journey, then you can go to the Trueworth website. Just go to Google and search Trueworth. Stratesys, it's stratesys.es, is that right? Or stratesys.com?
Stratesys-ts.com.
Stratesys-ts.com. Okay, thank you, Pablo. Really appreciate you coming along.
No, thanks, Sam, for hosting me, as said, and I think we can do another recording when we get to the 100 employees in the UK.
That sounds great. I will hopefully look forward to that very soon.